In just over 100 days, we've witnessed the Trump administration lay off more than 200,000 probationary federal employees, including leading researchers, public health experts, veterans, and other critical positions. Trump has coerced 75,000 civil servants into resigning. Trump has replaced 50,000 nonpartisan civil servants with political appointees. And Trump has illegally terminated nonpartisan independent inspectors general and federal watchdogs. This partisan bill threatens to further undermine the federal workforce by reducing the take-home pay, benefits, and workforce protections of 2.4 million federal employees, most of whom are middle-class American workers, and a third of whom are military veterans. This is more of the same, an unprecedented assault and political purge of the nonpartisan civil service. And the people who pay most for these attacks are the veterans, children, seniors, and other Americans who rely on our federal workers to deliver those life-saving services. The Federal Employee Retirement System, annuity supplement, a monthly bridge payment for retirees before they're eligible for Social Security at age 62 would be eliminated for anyone not actively receiving the supplemental payment by January 1st, 2028, or who does not meet a specific exemption. Federal workers like letter carriers, VA hospital nurses, food inspectors who have committed decades to the job are eligible to retire would not be able to receive this vital payment to make ends meet. That's $18,000 per year in retirement income for the average beneficiary eliminated because billionaires need another tax break. This legislation would also retroactively change the annuity formula to base most employees' annual retirement payments on their highest 5 years of earnings instead of the highest 3 as they were promised when they were hired. This is an outright theft of earned benefits that would cost federal retirees thousands of dollars annually. And my Republican colleague, Representative Mike Turner of Ohio, was exactly right to speak out and vote against this provision during our committee's consideration of this bill, making the rejection of the oversight provisions bipartisan. Another particularly egregious provision of this bill would force any newly hired federal employee to accept at-will employment or lose 5% of their take-home pay to increase retirement contributions. Federal workers who choose to remain under the merit-based system would be forced to contribute nearly 10% of their paycheck towards retirement. CBO estimates that 75% of new hires in the federal government would now become at-will employees subject to political purges of the federal workforce with little to no protections. I'll be introducing amendments to strike this bill's at-will employment provisions and to exempt veterans and federal workers who entered the workforce prior to the bill enactment from the changes in the annuity formula. Despite the claims of this administration, federal workers are not leeches on the system, but hardworking, dedicated public servants who are paid about 25% less than their private sector counterparts. A strong, nonpartisan federal workforce is fundamental to a functioning democratic government. These dedicated workers deserve our respect and our support. Like most Americans, federal workers faced increased costs for groceries and housing and economic uncertainty because of President Trump's reckless tax and tariff agenda. The Trump tariffs are estimated to cost American households $4,900 per year, the largest tax increase since 1968. President Trump and congressional Republicans are also advocating for a tax regime that will actually increase federal deficits by more than $4 trillion over the next 10 years. And worst of all, they're seeking to offset their tax cuts for billionaires by gutting $800 billion from Medicaid programs. My Democratic colleagues and I strongly oppose that motion. Oversight Democrats stand with struggling families. We oppose corruption and abuse of power, and we are committed to solving our nation's crises without sacrificing the well-being of our civil servants. I urge my colleagues to reject this reverse Robin Hood legislation, which robs from the poor to give to the rich, and instead work towards a budget that respects American workers and the basic needs and services they provide. I welcome the committee's questions, and I yield back.